Hare Krishna. So, thank you everyone for joining again today, this week. And we will discuss today Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. We'll continue discussion from last week. So, before we start discussing, we'll cite some prayers. Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimad Gopala Krishna Goswami Namine Prabhupadasya Sahitya Ya Prakasya Dvitirya Cha Pracharam Kritavan Sadhu Bhagavatpadaya Te Namah Namaum Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So all of you can repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Thank you. So we'll start reading from chapter 3, and text number 6. So before we go there, we'll recap from last week. We discussed that last week discussion was that what is karma? What is karma yoga? So we discussed last week what is karma yoga, and we also discussed that there are different ways of understanding God, Krishna, and there are two classes of people who try to understand God, right? So Arjuna asked that you told me that Krishna, that you told me that in chapter, earlier in chapter 2 that you should do karma yoga, dhyana yoga, bhakti yoga, and then you said that you surrender unto me. Then Arjuna asking why are you engaging me in this warfare? If purpose of life is to give up everything and engage in the service of God or Krishna, then why you are engaging me in this war of Mahabharata? So that's the question Arjuna has. So Krishna is explaining here that I told you two classes of people in the world. There are one class are called empirical or philosophical speculators. So there are people who want to have a lot of knowledge or who want to do yoga. And there are second class of people are people who are bhaktas. They want to do devotional service. And then Krishna says in text number 4 that nobody can stop working. You can't say that I will give up everything and go to the cave in mountain in somewhere Himalaya and worship and do some yoga, because you won't get perfection. And even if you say that, I just don't want to do anything and I just to eat, sleep, so then also it's useless. Then Krishna talks about that everyone is forced to act in life. Actually, many things in life we don't want to do, and we have to do it. And many things we want to do it, but we are not able to do it because of so many reasons, and mostly internal region of our own it's desire or our own interest or our own circumstance. We wish to do it, but we are not able to do. So Krishna explains that this is because of modes of material nature. Everyone is acting in 3 modes and nobody can stop working. So today we'll continue this topic, that can anyone ever stop working in life? Can anyone ever give up work and you can just be idle somewhere, and you don't have to do? So that's a chapter 3, text number 6. So everybody is on the same page, right? All of you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. All right. So let's discuss today that one. So this text number 6, I'm going to read one sloka, and then all of us can read one sloka each, as we do every week. So I'll start with this. It's text number 6, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3. Karmendriyani samyamya aste manasa smaran indriyarthanvita bhumulatma mityachara sa uchyate. Anybody wants to repeat?
Karmendriyani samyamya yaste manasa smaran indriyadhan vimudatma mityachara sauchyate.
Thank you. Anybody else wants to repeat this?
Yes, Prabhuji. Karmendriyani संयम्य य आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारः स उच्यते. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. All right. So we'll read translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation is this: one who restrains the senses of action, but whose mind dwells on sense object, certainly delude himself and is called a pretender. Purport: there are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation, while actually dwelling within the mind upon sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to obtain sophisticated followers. But according to these verses, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of social order. But if one follows the rules and regulation of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. But he who makes a show of being yogi while actually searching for object of sense gratification must be called greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speak of philosophy. His knowledge has no value, because the effect of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. Hare Krishna. Madhyanitimidandasya jnananjana salakaya chichurupaurmilitam yena tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. So, this sloka is very practical in our life, right? So question to all of you here. In your life so far, did you ever meet such people who are pretenders? Especially in spiritual practices, there are so many people who pose themselves as sadhu, and did you felt that they were pretending? If you want to share any experience of that. No, you didn't meet anyone who was pretending or trying to show that I'm sadhu.
Yeah, I met Prabhuji.
You met, okay.
Yeah. He's devotee of Guru. Then he's like, everybody trusts him, and he took so much of money from everyone, and he ran away.
Okay. So that, all right. So this is very common, right? Like,
Yeah.
so let's understand how do you define a pretender? How do you identify someone is pretending or not? So let's little bit understand this aspect of how do you know someone is pretending or someone is not pretending?
He gives all devotional speeches, but he doesn't follow.
Okay, so someone who is not walking the talk is a pretender, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very, very common observation you can make. But sometimes somebody can say to you, I'm still in, still I'm not ready. So I'll do in future, because they can say I'm still in training, or I'm still, not ready. So I'm not doing it, but I'll do it later. So, and you won't able to follow them for 10 years, 5 years, you don't know, right? So then what do you do?
I don't trust him, Prabhuji.
You don't trust it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the thing we have experienced, suppose somebody is studying doctor, like, somebody is studying medical education, and they are still doing their education. They're not ready to observe the patient. But one thing you can observe, that who is their teacher, from whom they are learning, right? You can ask this question from this person that, okay, so what is your philosophy? From where, who is your teacher? From where you're learning, right? Because that will reflect who they are, correct? If the person says that I don't have a teacher, then it's a red flag. You careful. And then you look at that teacher, about that teacher whom they are saying, okay, he's my or she is my teacher. Then you look at their life, because their life is anyways out there. You can listen to them and you can figure it out whether their teacher is doing what they are speaking or talking. If they're not doing it, then you better be run away, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes. So pretenders, Krishna explained here that there are a lot of people who want to pose themselves as, I am very sober, very ethical, very moral, and I'm a very nice person. Externally, they try to show everyone, show off that I'm a very nice person. But when you go and ask for genuine help, they will have so many reasons for not doing things or not helping out, right? So actually, a lot of people in the world are pretending. Even in their own family life, they're pretending to be husband and wife. They're pretending to be, father and mother, they are pretending to be kids, sons and daughters, and they are pretending to be brother, sister. So many, even relationship people pretend, because if you don't pretend, then it won't last, because everybody is selfish. They're looking for some interest in it. So purity is missing in a lot of relationship nowadays. Then you go on at your workplace, you have to pretend to some extent, right? And because everybody is pretending. And likewise, it extends to everywhere. So in this world, in this world of pretendedness, you can say pretendedness, how can you be not pretending, right? One can ask a question that, hey, I understand, but this world is like that. So what should I do, right? So the answer comes out is, all right, you may be pretending outside, but at least to yourself, start not being pretending, right? Not pretending yourself, because when we start pretending ourselves, like to our own self, we start to show that I'm a very nice person, but internally I know that I'm not. Or I am very genuine, but internally I know that I'm not. Externally I'm showing I'm very honest, but I'm not, right? These are basic principles in human life. So first, let's start with basics, like start being nice to yourself and honest to yourself. Like suppose if I'm not able to do something I promised to myself, then I should be honest to myself and admit it that, hey, yes, I am not able to do this thing, but I'm honest about it. I'm not trying to say that, no, I did some time, I'll do in future, and especially nobody is doing it, so why should I? Right? That's a basic, very fundamental reason to give. So that's how it starts. Once you start being honest internally, and then everything manifests. That the whole thing outside also start being honest, being not pretending. And even people who are pretending, you don't care, because then you cannot control other people. Then you just work on yourself, not on anyone else, right? Don't correct other people, because that is not good idea, right? And nobody likes it, being corrected, unless you are in position to be correct. You can correct others, because sometimes you have a job where you have to correct, like a teacher has to correct the students, a manager has to correct employees, family member, elders has to correct kids. So if you have a position where you have to do it, you do it. Otherwise you don't do it, and you just work on yourself. So that's a basic step. You can start not being, pretending, because it has no value, right? So do you guys remember a story, once even Mahatma Gandhi? So this is story of Jagri and Mahatma Gandhi, right?
Yeah,
So
we know.
yeah, so somebody brought their son or kid to Gandhi and asked him that, can you request my kid not to eat jaggery? And Mahatma Gandhi said, I'm sorry, I can't. So then she asked that, why? Everybody listens to you. And if you tell my kid, he may stop eating. He's eating too much. The tooth is going bad. So then Mahatma Gandhi said, I myself eat jaggery. So how can I ask someone not to eat? Because I'm not ready to give instruction unless I am not following myself, right? So then he said, come back after a few weeks, and then I can say. So then I will stop eating, and then I will have firm. Because the message you receive, the source of message you receive from someone, if the person itself is not following, it will not have effect on you. This is the potency of the message. If somebody is strictly following certain things, for example, eating jaggery, so Mahatma Gandhi knew that if I stop eating jaggery for a few weeks, and then if I tell this kid, then he or she will understand that, okay, not eat. But otherwise, they won't follow, right? So this is a subtle communication which happens between living entities, that especially humans, that if you tell someone something and you yourself not doing it, the message will not be effective. Here Prabhupada is saying, this knowledge has no value because the effect of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy of the Lord. Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his soul of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. So we have to be careful at our own life, in our own life, in our own character, that what we are, and try to not pretend ourselves first to self, and then to others slowly. And yeah, it is doable. You can do it. That's why Krishna is saying. So who wants to read next to sloka? Take sloka number 7.
Prabhuji, can I?
Yes.
यस्विन्द्रियाणि मनसा नियम्य रभतेऽर्जुन कर्मेन्द्रियै कर्मयोगमस्तकः सविष्यते. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Instead of becoming a transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, who is to get free from material bondage and enter into kingdom of God. The prime Swarthagati or goal of self-interest is to reach Vishnu. The whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated services in Krishna consciousness. For self-realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastras and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adapts slow bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mansi. So Prabhupada is very heavy, and he's practically talking about a lot of nowadays. You will see a lot of spiritual people in social media, and they have millions of followers. But if you ask them, then publicly they are showing off so many things, but in their personal life, it's totally disaster, right? So they are talking about so many nice things, but when you go and look into their personal life, it comes out that they are exactly opposite in their personal life. So especially in spiritual life, there are so many babas. It's like manufacturing factory. Every day new babas coming, and new spiritual people coming, and that's why people lose interest in spirituality or religion, because essentially it is taking money, cheating others, and then trying to make their life better. But that's not the purpose of doing spirituality, because here Krishna is saying, on the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. And Prabhupada here saying in the last line in purport, a sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the charlatan meditator who meditate only for the sake of making a living. So it is very important to being sincere in our activities. That's what Krishna is asking, that whatever you are doing, you do it for my sake. And be sincere. Sincere means be honest, don't be pretender, right? That's pretender and sincere. There are two classes of people. One class is who are very dedicated what they're doing. Another class is just trying to showcase that they are doing, right? It's like a show bottle spiritualism. So Krishna doesn't want that for living entities to be pretender. He wants them to be sincere. So it is very clear here, right? And how you live your life, you live a life थोड़ा वेट कर सकते इतना टाइम Okay, so I need 5-minute break. So you guys can read the text number 8. Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes. All right, I'm
Sure,
helping
sure.
someone. Okay,
Yeah,
so
sure.
you can read text number 8. Anybody can read.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go ahead reading it.
Go ahead.
नियतं कर्मत्वं कर्मज्यायो ह्यकर्मणः शरीरयात्रापि च तेन प्रसिद्धयेदकर्मणः. Translation: perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. Purport: there are many pseudo-meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage, and great professional men who falsely pose that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So-called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously, without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of the impure propensity for lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so, through prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so-called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at the cost of others. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So this is very important sloka. Niyatam kuru karma karmatvam karmajayayo akarmana shariryatrapi chate na prasidesya karmana. So Krishna is saying that you have to do your duty, prescribed duty. The key word is prescribed duty. For doing so is better than not working. So a lot of people say that when you become spiritual, then you may stop working. You may not have any interest in the world. This is what they say, right? That I think last time Pavitra Mataji was saying, some friend were talking that if you do a lot of bhakti, you may give up you spoil your family life because you will not have any other interest in the life, right? But Krishna is saying that perform your prescribed duty. So you have to perform your duty. If your husband, wife, son, kid, you have to have your duty, right? Because nobody can stop working. So Krishna is not advising Arjun or to us to go to Himalaya and not do anything. This is not advice. Because why? One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So even to maintain our human body, just a minute, huh? This calling. Hare Krishna
प्रभु।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
कहाँ पे कितने बजे आ रहे हो प्रभु आप?
मैं पहुंचूंगा करीब 2 बजे।
ओके ओके ठीक है। माता जी बोल रही थी आपने उनको 10 बजे बुलाया था।
10 बजे नहीं, 10 बजे तो किसी को नहीं।
सुबह को माता जी 10 बजे आके बैठ के वेट कर रही थी।
कृष्णा 10 बजे नहीं बोला मैं।
ओह ठीक है। तो 2 o'clock को आ रहा ना?
यस, क्योंकि कुकिंग है ना, तो आई विल कम।
और फोटो ला रहे हो ना प्रभु आप?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
और मैं पूछ रहा था वो चना भिगोया हुआ है क्या किसी ने?
हाँ भिगोया हुआ है।
ओके, वेलकम। ठीक है
Okay.
प्रभु, मैं आऊंगा।
हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. Sorry, we have some program in ISKCON Boston today for our Guru Maharaj's memorial. So we are cooking Sunday feast, and that's what being
Okay,
managed. Okay, so we were talking that even to maintain this body, which is this our body, we have a body, and which need fuel like food. We need to eat sufficient food so that we get enough energy. To get food, we have to work. Even if you beg, it is a work. You have to beg on certain place, certain time to certain people so that you get food. Begging is not doing anything. You have to do a lot of work, right? Even there is a competition between beggars. If you go to Mumbai in the on the road, there is allotment that who will beg which place. You cannot beg anywhere. You have to go to very specific your location to beg, right? Do you know that? Even in America, if you see homeless people on the street, and they are standing in mid of the the road, the dividers. You see them, right?
Yes.
They have this little place card, and they're showing us, help us, need food, need water, need whatever, right? Last job. They cannot beg anywhere. They have allotment. I have talking to a person who was homeless and who was begging, and I asked him, why you do just here? You can go anywhere. And no, I can't go anywhere because they will be kicking me off. I have to be on my location to beg. So you cannot beg anywhere because there are hotspot areas to beg, and if you go there, you get a lot of money. So it's not easy. And begging is a business. Do you know that? There is a lot of stories came out time by time in the news that there are mafias who organize begging. They kind of take people, handicap them, and then put them in a situation, and they drop them off, and in the evening they pick them up and they give them just food. They have hundreds of people in their control, right? Do you know that? Don't know. You should see the Crime Patrol. You'll find those are real stories. Those are not just they are real. People are going through such situations when even kids are kids get kidnapped when they're a kid, and then people rage such people. They cut their hand or make them blind or something, and then so that the lifetime they are dependent on them, these mafias, and they will make them begging whole life. So the world is very cruel. And so nobody can say that I don't have to work. You have to work to maintain this body. And then once you have sufficient amount of food, then you need shelter. You need a room or a hut or something to stay because the weather is changing. There's something cold, heat, rain. Once you have a shelter, then you need entertainment, right? Entertainment, some kind of entertainment. Once you have entertainment, then you want to raise your status of life. You want to raise your status of eating the food, status of living. You want to raise it. You don't want to be low class eater or live in. You want the best apartment. Everybody wants that. The person wants to raise it, and then you want better class of enjoyment. But we know that in our body there are two things, right? What are these two things? Everybody has two components in our body, like two different aspect of the body.
Sarira and soul.
Yes. So yes, thank you, Mantaji. So we have this physical body, which you can see me, I can see you, but there is a spirit, there is a soul, there is a consciousness in your body, my body, everyone's body. So there is a spirit, there is a consciousness which makes this active, right? So how you can satisfy your physical body by supplying food, by by giving shelter, but then how you satisfy your soul, your spirit? Nobody is aspiring for it, right? And that is a major part, because it's like you want to satisfy the body, but you can satisfy the body to certain extent. You cannot eat after certain amount, you cannot sleep after certain amount, you cannot entertain after certain amount, you cannot, right? There is a limit. But we as a spirit soul is aspiring for unlimited. We want unlimited enjoyment, unlimited happiness, unlimited food, unlimited money, everything unlimited, because that's what greed, that it never satisfies. It is said that you can satisfy, the world has everything to satisfy everyone's need. The world has everything to satisfy everyone's need, but the world is not sufficient for even one person's greed. One person becomes greedy, the world will be limited and very small for that person, because the greed is so powerful that it can make everything smaller in the mind, right? So we know this. So Krishna is very practical, saying you cannot maintain your own body without work. So I'm not advising you that you give up and become renunciant, right? Anybody have any question, comment, anything so far?
No, Prabhuji.
Okay. So we'll read next sloka, Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, slok 9. Anybody wants to read? Okay, I'll read it. Yagyartha karmano yantra lokadyam karma bandhana tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. So translation. So then here Krishna is saying how you should work. So here, Yagyartha karmano yantra, work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu, has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way you will always remain free from bondage. I'll repeat this translation. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed. Otherwise, work causes bondage in this material world. Therefore, O son of Kunti, perform your prescribed duties for his satisfaction, and in that way, you will always remain free from bondage. Purport. So let's understand this. Since one has to work even for simple maintenance of the body, the prescribed duty for a particular social position and quality are made so made that the purpose can be fulfilled. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, or sacrificial performances. All sacrificial performances are meant for satisfaction of Lord Vishnu. The Veda enjoins Yagno Vaya Vishnu. In other words, the same purpose is served without whether one performs prescribed yajna or directly serve Lord Vishnu. Krishna consciousness is therefore performance of yajna as it is prescribed in this verse. In Varnashram institution also aims at satisfying Lord Vishnu. Varnashramas charatvata purushena parah puman Vishnu aradhayate. Vishnu Puran 3.8.8. Therefore, one has to work for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Any other work done in this material world will be a cause of bondage. For good or evil work have their reactions, and any reaction binds the performer. Therefore, one has to work in Krishna consciousness to satisfy Krishna or Vishnu. And while performing such activities, one is in liberated stage. This is a great art of doing work, and in the beginning of this process requires very expert guidance. One should therefore act very diligently under the expert guidance of a devotee of Lord Krishna, or under the direct instructions of the Lord Krishna himself, under whom Arjuna had opportunity to work. Nothing should be performed for sense gratification, but everything should be done for the satisfaction of Krishna. This practice will not only save one from reactions of work, but also gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. So this is sloka, you see then this sloka, the second line, Tadartham karma kaunteya mukta sangha samachara. Mukta sangha, right? Mukta sangha means liberated from association. And samachara means do perfectly. So then here Krishna is explaining, now in the previous verse, he said that everybody has to work because to maintain this body, we need to work, right? Without work, nobody can survive in this world. No one can survive in this world. Even animals have to work. A small ant does so much work daily, right? So what about humans? They have to work. Now, how do you work? So this is here, Mukta Sangha Samachara. Prabhupada and Krishna is explaining that one should work in such a way, it's called art of work. Okay? The great art of doing work. Everyone should learn this great art of doing work. How should you work so that the result of the work doesn't become cause of the bondage, right? Because we have to work. So then we have to learn how to work so that the result, whether it is good result or bad result from our activities, doesn't become the cause of the bondage, right? Right? Because we know that even if you do good work, you have to enjoy that work. You do the bad work, you have to suffer. In either case, it is limited. At some point, they get over, right? And Krishna will tell us in upcoming slokas that why, how does it work? You know, I told you that good work you have to enjoy, it will get over. Bad work you have to suffer, you get over. So essentially, we are on a roller coaster. We are just going through good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Because in cosmic time, the cosmic time scale, the life is very big. We may think that, oh, I have just 60 years, 70 years. Who knows in next life what will happen? Yes, sir, you don't know, but that doesn't mean nobody knows. Krishna as a super soul is sitting in our heart and observing everything. Whatever you are doing is being recorded. Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Sun is a witness, right? So you can't hide anything what you do in life. So it's better to be careful what we are doing. And at some point, Prabhupada explaining that initially you perform as a matter of duty, but since you are on a right path, it becomes your second nature or first nature at some point. And then you do out of love, not out of, just because you have to do it. It's your nature. You do out of love, right? So that's why the last line, the practice will not only save one from the reactions of work, but gradually elevate one to the transcendental loving service of the Lord, which alone can raise one to the kingdom of God. Right? Nowadays, people want to go to Chandra, Mars, and Moon, and so many places. But here Krishna is talking that you can go to the Krishna Loka, highest, topmost planetary system in this whole cosmic world, spiritual world, which is kingdom of God. Now somebody will say, how do I know it exists? It may not be, right? Same way, how do you know there is a Mars exist? Because some people told you. Did you been there? Do you know them personally? No, somebody told you. You didn't go to NASA and ask them, show me. They send you a picture in social media, or if you publish a picture, you trust it. You just trust it. It's a faith. There is nothing more than that. It's just a faith. And that scientist who gave you a picture now will die in few years or few decades. What you will do? You can't hold them accountable because they are gone. So this is The Bhagavad Gita is ancient Vedic knowledge, coming 5,000 year old, at least in our era, our time scale. But it comes millions year old, because Krishna says that, Arjuna, that I told this knowledge already to the Vivaswan, which is sun god. And sun god is millions of year old. So this knowledge is not new, which means this can't be just hypothetical or mythology, right? But one need to have a faith to understand this knowledge. So we'll understand next sloka, text number 10, and then we'll stop there and have question answer. Okay?
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, please read.
सह यज्ञ प्रजा सृष्ट्वा पुरोवाच प्रजापतिः अनेन प्रसविष्यद्वमेष वः अस्तु इष्टकामधुक्. In the beginning of creation, the Lord of all creatures sent fourth generations of men and demigods along with sacrifices for Vishnu and blessed them by saying, "Be so happy by this yajna," sacrifice, because its performance will bestow upon everything desirable for living happily and achieving liberation. Purport. The material creation by the Lord of creatures, Vishnu, is a chance offered to the conditioned souls to come back home, back to Godhead. All living entities within the material creation are conditioned by material nature because of their forgetfulness of their relationship to Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Vedic principles are to help us understand this eternal relation as it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Vedascha sarvairaham evascha vedyaha. The Lord says that the purpose of Vedas is to understand Him. In Vedic hymns, it is said, Patim Vaisya Satyeswaram. Therefore, the Lord of the living entities in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, in the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam also 2.4.20, Srila Sukadeva Goswami describes the Lord as Pati in so many ways. Sriya Patir Yagnapati, Prajapatir Diyam Patir Lokapatir Ardharapatihi, Patir Gatischana Kruvishnu Satvatam, Prasidatham Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. The Prajapati is Lord Vishnu and he is the Lord of all living creatures. The Prajapati is Vishnu and he is the Lord of all living creatures, all worlds and all beauties, and the protector of everyone. The Lord created this material world to enable the conditioned souls to learn how to perform yajnas, sacrifice, for the satisfaction of Vishnu, so that while in the material world, they can live very comfortably without anxiety, and after finishing the present material body, they can enter into kingdom of God. That is the whole program for the conditioned soul. By performance of yajna, the conditioned souls gradually become Krishna conscious and become godly in all respects. In the age of Kali, the Sankirtana yajna, the chanting of the names of the God, is recommended by the Vedic scripture, and this transcendental system was introduced by Lord Chaitanya for the deliverance of all men in this age. Sankirtana yajna and Krishna consciousness go well together. Lord Krishna in his devotional form as Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.32 as follows, with special reference to Sankirtana yajna. Krishna Varnam Trisha Krishnam Sangopangastra Parshadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayai Yajantihi Sumedhasaha. In the age of Kali, people who endowed with sufficient intelligence will worship the Lord, who is accompanied by his associates by performance of Sankirtana yajna. Other yajnas prescribed in the Vedic literatures are not easy to perform in this age of Kali. But the Sankirtana Yajna is easy and sublime for all purposes as recommended by Bhagavad Gita also 9.14. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mansi. So, here in this sloka, Krishna, as you see, he's saying that I have, in the beginning of creation, the Lord of creature sent forth generations of men and demigod, right? So the generation of men and demigods are administrators. And along with that, they also send the sacrifice for Vishnu. What is the process? And then bless them, then saying, go perform the sacrifice and be happy in human form of life in cooperation with demigods. Now, in Kali Yuga, we are, so many yuga cycle. We'll slowly learn in Bhagavad Gita that what is the time scale. But we are in Kali Yuga, we know the people who believe in Vedic knowledge, they believe in Vedic time, and then Vedic time has certain calculation of time. And then first is Satyuga, then Treta Yuga, Lord Ram, and then Dwapar Yuga, Krishna, and then this is Kali Yuga. Not far, just 2,500 years, almost. And then 500 years ago, Krishna came in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who gave this Sankirtan movement. So this age has a specific sacrifice, which is called Sankirtan Yajna. So that's what being discussed here. Krishna Varana Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parsadam Yagne Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Hi Sumedasa. So Krishna Varana Trisha Krishnam. So Krishna will come in the form of golden incarnation, which is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, with his associate to teach Sankirtan Yajna. Because every age in the Satyuga, the people used to have a lot of meditation. That was Satyuga, right? Then because they had a long age, like people used to live thousands and thousands of years. So they can perform, meditation. And they were peaceful, they no anxiety, they will die as their desire. They don't have to give up body, there was no disease, no aging, right? So they will die as per their own age, they decide. Then come Treta Yuga, then you do a lot of yajna, lot of varieties of sacrifice in Treta Yuga. So that was a prescribed method to do yajna, because everything was pure. The articles were pure. The Vedic mantras could be chanted purely. The people who chant Vedic mantras were pure brahmanas. So the demigods used to visit this planet to take the offerings directly, hand-to-hand offering. Then comes Dwapar Yuga. Dwapar Yuga people become further contaminated, the age reduced. So they then become temple sacrifice became prominent. The temple worship, the big temples were getting constructed, and the deity worship was prominent. The demigods where Krishna was worshipped in form of deities. Vishnu was worshipped, mostly Vishnu. And yajna was not enough. So demigods were not visiting so often. They reduced their travel to this planet. So Krishna came in Dwapara Yuga, and at the end, Mahabharata happened. He wiped off all the demons, established Yudhishthira Maharaj as a king, who's a pious ruler of this planet. And then he left with his associate. But then he again came just 500 years ago in Navadip, in Mayapur, in West Bengal, in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Why? Because he knew that people will not able to maintain temples. They will not able to do pure worship because you don't have pure Brahmana, you don't have pure articles. So how you do that? So to realize the God, the method changed, becomes Sankirtan Yajna, which is very simple. Anybody can do it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So nowadays you see, because of Srila Prabhupada, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instruction, and then Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, they, everywhere in the world, there is Kirtan melas, big Kirtan programs, right? And thousands of people come and chant together. They do Kirtan. Anybody can participate. Even animals can participate. So this method is most powerful in this age because we have a small age. We don't know when we will die. We cannot die our own desire. We will die as per nature's law. And our intelligence is not sharp. We have limited memory. Our senses are not perfect. So therefore, at least we have tongue, which can vibrate sound, and we have ears who can hear. And this is easier to purify our consciousness because ultimately, any method of spiritual practice you do, the purpose is to purify our consciousness, to make it Krishna conscious, to make it God conscious. Then focusing on sense gratification, we have to give up that. That's the method. That's the whole goal. So this Sankirtan Yagna is the most powerful in this age, and therefore it is recommended in this age by Krishna himself in the form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, everyone, we advise Gaudiya Vaishnava mostly advise everyone to chant daily certain rounds. And of course, we do deity worship, but after chanting, the chanting is the first job. It's not that you can give up chanting Hare Krishna mantra and you can do deity worship, you can do so many other things. No. Chanting is the basis, and then everything falls on that. So chanting, reading, hearing Shastra, having devotee association like this, we have virtually or in temple, and then you do deity worship installed by acharyas, by the deities, and they have Krishna established there. And there is a method, Narada Pancharatri method, to worship Krishna. Krishna himself told Narada Muni how he should be worshipped. So that's a method. But the prime is Hare Krishna Mahamantra chanting. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Anybody can chant. Anyone. Doesn't matter what caste, what creed, what age, where you come from, doesn't matter. And just by chanting this mantra, we purify our existence and change our consciousness from material or contaminated or conditioned stage to the liberated stage, end of this life. That's the goal. So we are not fear of death, but we are fear of death in certain manner, certain consciousness. That's a fear that I should not give up this body in a sense gratification consciousness, in conditioned consciousness, where I'm feared of everything. Oh, what will happen to my money? What will happen when I will die? Oh, what will happen to my whole property? All this has to be given up. At least mentally, renounce it and focus on next journey, right? Oh, how nice is message in Bhagavad Gita. How nice is remembering Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. How nice to be nice to everyone. How nice to have celebrated festivals, Prashadam, going to pilgrimage, visiting Vrindavan, Mayapur, Puri, Rameshwaram, all these holy places, Ayodhya, Varanasi. Those are the memories, Badrinath, Kedarnath, so many pilgrimage places. You want to remember at the end of life those things rather than, whom I hated, whom I disliked, who is my neighbor, what will happen. Most of people die like that consciousness. Or fear of death, just shivering at the fear of when the death comes, everyone frustrated and almost they don't know what to do. Then Yamadutas come and they just chastise and find them and take them, and they just before death, they are passing stool and urine. Like most of people do that. Why? Because there's so much fear of the Yamadutas who come in subtle form. They torture the living entity, end of life. But when you do bhakti, exactly opposite happens. Yamadutas don't touch you. When you chant Hare Krishna mantra in a life and you have tulasi bead and you have tilak, Yamadutas don't touch you. And who touches you? Vishnu Dutas come. Vishnu Dutas come and they bring a nice flower chariot. You sit on them with them and you directly go to Vishnu Loka without any torture. Right? In Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, it explains how much torture a living entity goes when they go to the Yamalokas. and how many type of narakas and exist in this cosmic world. If you just read this third canto, I think it's 29th chapter or 30th chapter. Anybody, if they read that part of Bhagavatam, they will not do any nonsense in life, because then they realize it's so sinful. It can happen with these actions which we do in our life. So then we become, these information is given so that we become conscious and we focus on Hare Krishna Mahamant chanting rather than caring about, oh, this dharma, that religion, that Baba, this Baba, that Baba. World is very distracting. So we just focus on one goal, like laser focus, and then life is easy, happy, right? Like every Sunday is like today. Even my Guru Maharaj passed away. Last week he left the body, mortal world. And all over the world there is festivals, there is celebrations, People are saying we feel sad because we got physically separated, but there is a whole celebration. He gave up one life, one family life, that is his wife and kids. He became sannyasi. Now he have 10,000 disciples, 10,000 children, right? And whole world is celebrating festivals. Every temple, 800 temples in ISKCON, houses, everywhere. And there's celebration. There is, appreciation, kirtan, arati, puspanjali, and then feast, right? What do you want in this life? That's the whole life. Everybody wants to eat something, want to have gathering. Doesn't matter whether it's spiritual or material. If you don't do spiritual, then you're going in a bar, going in a party, having lights, dancing, drinking, eating, same process, but the purpose and goal is different, right? So I'll stop you speaking here. Anybody had any question, comment, please share. Hare Krishna. All goes to Prabhupada. All goes to Guru Maharaj. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, up to all of you now. Hare Krishna. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mansi.
Prabhu, he came now, and he's like,
Okay, so no questions. So we'll end here. All right.